Hey everyone, welcome back to the IWP Network, or if it's your first time, welcome hanging out with us. Thank you so much for choosing this podcast, and feedback is always welcome. So make sure to check the links below for all social media links, audio and video versions of this show, and merch. We look forward to hearing from you and hearing that feedback, and enjoy the show. Jesus. All right. Hey, everybody. We're here, Not Cool in High School, episode, I don't remember. I always do that. Anyway.
You ever look this up?
I don't.
Every time you're like, I don't remember.
Literally everything happens like right as we're going live. It's like trying to get everything situated. But anyway, we want to thank our sponsors real quick. Abaddon Tattoo Studios, a unique professional experience nestled in the small town of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. They provide high quality tattoos, piercings in a relaxed, professional, and sterile environment. And all the links are below. And we're really excited tonight because we have a really fun guest. We're going to get right into it right away. Are you good volume-wise, or is it still too loud?
It's still a little loud. I don't know why.
I almost have you like muted at this point. Are you good now?
Well, can you turn?
Yeah, this is good.
Can you turn her headphones on?
I think it is the headphones. Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yes. Yes.
I think you might be on the wrong headphones. I mean, I might have these two switched. All right. Anyway, here we are. We have Ben with us from FRIGHT-RAGS, which this is huge. This
FRIGHT-RAGS.com, plug the site.
FRIGHT-RAGS.com. I mean, we say it like everyone should already know. You should know what FRIGHT-RAGS. If you're a horror movie fan or a pop culture fan,
it's not like it's a weird site where it's like, // horror.
Well, I think it's FRIGHT-RAGS.
Yeah, FRIGHT-RAGS. Geocities.com.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to learn about the history of how FRIGHT-RAGS came about, what FRIGHT-RAGS is. If you don't know, you're going to by the end of this because they make amazing products, and we'll just kind of get nerdy and talk about horror movies and stuff. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome, man. So how did the start of FRIGHT-RAGS come about?
It was around the summer of 2003, and it was my girlfriend at the time. We were living together, and I had a full-time job as a graphic designer, and it was one of those things. We were in an apartment, we didn't have kids yet, so we had a lot of free time, and I don't know, I was getting bored at my job, and I always just wanted to create something. I've always been like that. I just want to make something, whatever it was. Like when I was a kid, I used to want to write books or illustrate comic books, or, obviously, I was in a band for a long time, wanted to make music. So I was part of these online forums, because this is before Facebook and MySpace and all that. And I would get on these horror message boards and talk with friends and stuff. And some of the message boards I was on were related to prop making and fan-made masks and stuff. And one of my friends at the time, Justin Mabry, who went on to create Trick or Treat Studios, which I'm sure you guys know about.
Yeah.
He and I became really good friends. He had a forum called Night Owl Forums, and I was an admin there. And we would talk for hours on the phone, and he just made the best Michael Myers masks and Jason, and he just made all these great masks. So I was like, what can I do? Like, I want to make something too. And I've always been sort of into offbeat shirts and stuff growing up. Like I remember walking into a local department store, and they had a white shirt with just Gilligan's face on it. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I bought that, and we'd be on vacation, and I would always want to make sure I got the shirt that looked like something I would wear. I was very particular. So in being a graphic designer, I was like, I don't really have any t-shirts with horror stuff on it, And I didn't know really why that was. And I started looking some stuff up online, and there really wasn't anything out there that I personally would wear. At the time, the only company that was doing it, kind of like what we became, was Rotten Cotton. And they were definitely well known.
I remember them. Wow.
Yeah. And they had great stuff. I just would look at it and go, that's not what I would personally wear. So I was just trying to think of a different way that I would put something on a shirt. So I was coming up with ideas, and the first thing that really sparked my interest was I came up with this idea. This was back when What Would Jesus Do was sort of this thing people would say, and you'd see it on billboards and bumper stickers. And I thought, oh, that'd be funny. What would Jason do? And then instead of the J, you just put a hockey mask. So, it just said, said it all. But I thought there's no way in hell no one's done this before. And I searched and I searched and I searched on Google and everything. I couldn't find any evidence that this existed. I'm not saying I invented it. I'm just saying I couldn't. It wasn't like a 300 of them popped up when I searched.
Yeah, like they do now.
Right. So I created this really basic design with the hockey mask that I patterned off of part 6. And I thought, what if you blew up just the hockey mask and put that on a shirt? That would look cool because it's not the title and all that stuff. And then what if I made one that was Michael Myers, but it said trick or treat, you know, just again, extremely basic. And so anyway, I put them on, well, I showed Justin, and I didn't want to, you know, even though I was an admin there and I was part of the forum, I didn't want to just spam his board with like my stuff, you know? And he was like, no, dude, you should post these on my forum. Or in fact, I'll do it for you. I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. So he posted them, and all these people, and these were just mock-ups, you know, I hadn't done anything yet. And people were like, oh, I'd love that as a t-shirt. I'd buy that. And that was really my first taste at like feedback from something I made, aside from like being in school, like design school and stuff like that. It was like this real world sort of, I'm putting this out there and I'm getting feedback. So I thought, you know, I think I should maybe try to sell these or something. So I literally thought up a name. I was like, okay, what's horror related? What's t-shirt related? Smash them up. Oh, FRIGHT-RAGS kind of sounds cool. And I bought the domain name, and I came up with a really basic logo, and I hand coded a website, and I ordered these t-shirts online. I only ordered 20 of each design. So it was 60 shirts. It cost me $600, which I did not have at all. And my girlfriend and I, we were getting ready to get married. We were planning a wedding. She's like, what the hell are you doing? You know, how are you going to pay $600 back? You know, and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going to try it.
You're rolling the dice.
Yeah, I totally rolled the dice, and they, you know, I put them up for sale, and I put the link in the forum, and people started buying them. And, you know, it's not like I sold out right away or anything, but that kind of like, it's one thing for someone to say it's a cool design. It's another thing for them to say, here's, you know, $20 or $30 or whatever. And that was like intoxicating in a way, because it felt it was this connection. Like, I did something, you liked it enough to give me your money, but you want to wear that because you like it. You genuinely like it. So I didn't even think about it being a business. I didn't think about it being my livelihood. I wanted it to, but that felt like such a pipe dream. That was like winning the lottery. Like, that's way down there. I just want to do this because it's fun. I all the money went back into the business for the first 5 years. I never took like any money out of it or whatever, and just kept working at it from there.
Yeah, I definitely can relate on a few things you said there. You had a podcast yourself. Is it kind of like on a break or hiatus? So what's?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's, you know, it's all of us in the same room together. And we've been very cautious at work. Basically, we've only got 2 or 3 people at the office at any time given. Like, we have to have people there to fill orders. So we've got Jess and Heather there, are always there, because they're the ones filling the orders. Liz comes in once in a while to help fill orders. She's mostly customer service, but we have really kind of locked it down. So like, Kimmy has to be there to do bookkeeping and stuff, but she's upstairs. Like, we have a warehouse down in the back of our place, and our offices are upstairs. So she's completely separate. But even then, when she doesn't need to be there, she's not. I've been working from home exclusively. I'll go in and kind of check on things once in a while, and then everybody else is working from home. So we could do a Zoom sort of thing. To be honest, last year was insane. I mean, it was insane for everybody, but it was so crazy for us, and it's still been going that way. So it's really been sort of this low priority thing because there's so many other things going on, and we've been crazy busy.
Yeah, but a lot of your story is definitely inspiring. So one of the big things that I took out from it that I was actually starting to do myself is obviously trying to promote this podcast. We're doing it on 3 years now, and it seems like, you know, when you do anything, you hit like a wall, and you feel like you're not growing, you're not getting outreach, and you're trying to always find out how can you get it to new eyes, new ears. And my thing was, I'm going to join Facebook groups and admin pages and stuff. And I joined, and I would just be like, here's my podcast. And people were like, you're done, out of here. And I was like, oh man. So the fact that you had someone who was willing to, that already had a platform that gave it to you is huge. It's helpful. So that's a cool thing. But I learned too that when you go on these message boards and these community pages, you kind of gotta go in there and be a member of it, and not just kind of go in and spam. And that was something I had to learn very early on. And your other story about just rolling the dice, like with this podcast, I did the Kevin Smith approach. I sold a bunch of my stuff I really, really like and bought the equipment to do this, and having the support of an amazing wife and friends, it's grown tremendously. So even though you're a t-shirt company, we're a podcast, a lot of your story resonates very, very highly with us and myself personally. So it was really nice to hear, to like keep pushing, and things, things takes time,
That's awesome. And you're right. It doesn't matter what it is, a podcast, t-shirt company, it doesn't matter. It's, and I think Seth Godin is the one that said this, but it takes 5 years to become an overnight success,
Yeah.
And I do have people that talk to me and ask me about it, or like, oh, well, maybe it's easy, or they see what we are now. And I'm like, you don't know the 5 years or plus 5 years that I was by myself in my basement, staying up late, writing emails, either coming up with the designs or working with people to do the designs, and then getting up really early before my day job to fill orders, bringing those orders to my work so the post office could pick them up from there, and then spending my lunch break hand filling out international slips so I could go to the post office and stay in line. Like,
Wow.
The thing about it, you have to just love doing it regardless of anything else. And that was and I still do, it's not, obviously we're a company. We have to be profitable. We have to make money. This is my livelihood. It's the livelihood of 7 other people that work for me, but I love this. I don't think of it as, it's a lot of work, and it's the most I've ever worked in my entire life. And it's very stressful. And there are days where I'm just completely mentally exhausted, but I would not want to be doing anything else. I don't, it's just, so it's a different gear. You do it for a different reason. It's not because, oh, I'm going to make all this money, I'm going to do it. It's like, I just want to do this, and everything else has been amazing, but it's not the reason,
Yeah.
Plus, that's your thing too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the t-shirt thing, it resonates with me because I was someone also who was picked on and bullied for clothing because I didn't have the nice jeans or the nice shoes. So
Really?
if I can find a t-shirt that had a design I liked, it's like, and someone, instead of looking at my jeans, they're like, oh, cool, you're wearing a wrestling shirt, or you're wearing this. And it's like, until they looked at my shoes, and I got picked on again. But at least for that moment, I fit in, and I would spark up a conversation because of a t-shirt I wore. And that's something that has translated my entire life. I mean, my poor wife has lost 3 closets now in our house because they're jam-packed full of my t-shirt collection is over 500. It's pretty bad. And that's not even exaggeration. It's rough.
So, Ben, does yours rival that? Because I've seen your videos on Instagram of the tubs.
Yeah, so like literally right below me, because I'm in this addition of our house, which is kind of like my wing, and it's my office, and I got a theater room and the whole thing. But right below me, there's a crawl space. It's actually a nice crawl space. It's like maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall. It's like kind of insulated and lit and everything. I literally have, I haven't counted every single one of them, but it's in the neighborhood between that and what I have at the warehouse, probably 800 to 900 t-shirts. But
I'm 200 away from a guy who owns a t-shirt company.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
the majority of them, what we do is we archive one of each design we ever do.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I would do the same thing.
and selfishly, I do it in a nice manner.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so 99% of those, 98% of those haven't even been worn. They're brand new. They're just put away for archival purposes.
Yeah.
I feel
My
you. That's souls right there.
Yeah, my t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, I definitely have probably the ones that aren't considered archive, probably a couple hundred downstairs that are just ones that I've had over the years. And my wife, actually, I had all these old t-shirts. This was 15 years ago. She made me a quilt of a lot of my old t-shirts, like my 5th grade graduation t-shirt, and like my Ramones shirt, and like all these shirts I wore from a kid to like early adult. She made a huge quilt of them, which was pretty awesome.
I have shirts I still won't get rid of that are clearly never going to fit me again.
Sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, just like I can't get rid of that one. But yeah, well, speaking of t-shirts and wives, my wife is wearing a shirt here. It's the Dawn of the Dead t-shirt. So that was my t-shirt. It has been hijacked and commandeered. This I had to hide it for like 6 months. Like she washed it and didn't get, like, I was home before she was or something, so I was able to take it and hide it, and then hopes I could wear it one day. But when we start doing this show, she's like, "You're gonna let me wear it for the Fright Rags guy, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, just want to wear a Fright Rag shirt."
Great.
So it got busted back out. But yeah, that shirt is one of my favorites, and I never get to wear it. But yeah, I have a handful of Fright Rag shirts, but
And
it's nothing compared to Nikolai over here.
the what would
Yeah.
Jason do thing? I remember that was when
like
that came out and got big. 'Cause
Mhm.
I remember seeing that. I
Yeah.
remember the
Yeah.
sticker and everything, the shirt.
Well, I have the reprint of that.
Really?
And I have to say, I've tried to track down the originals of like the 20 of that you originally did on the Gildan shirts, and I can't find them. So they must be cherished
Yeah.
by those.
Yeah, it's funny. I still have one, I think, of each of that from that run. The original run. I have, I think, one of each of those, and I still have a couple. But yeah, I can't even find. Other than that, I can't find it myself. And we had to redesign the shirt. It was put that out in 2003, and in 2005, I got a love letter from New Line Cinema's lawyers saying that basically you better take this down or we'll sue you. And because they own the trademarks to the look of Jason's, hockey mask and stuff. And so when I looked at what they owned in terms of the shape of the mask, the eye holes, the triangle, all that stuff, I said, well, what if I redesigned it and made it and not did that, but it still looked like a hockey mask?
Mhm.
And I did that. And I was, to be honest, I was kind of ballsy about this, but I sent it back to them. I said, listen, this doesn't say Friday 13th. This is clearly a parody. And by the way, I took all your trademarks out. So I'm going to start selling it unless you tell me no. And they actually said, no, you're fine. So
Cool.
the next day, Hot Topic bought like 3,000 of them.
Wow.
And then 3 weeks later, they bought another 3,500 of them or 4,000 or something like that. It was crazy. So that's
Yeah.
the one that's been out there the most because that's the one we've
Yeah.
printed since then. But the original one of just the actual Jason hockey mask looking one, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Mm.
Probably in thrift
I was even
somewhere.
looking for
Yeah.
the trick or treat one too. We couldn't find
Yeah.
that one. We were eBaying it looking for it.
Oh wow.
But
And I remember you saying, like in the podcast, about the shirt that you made with the Freddy glove and the hockey mask. I've tried to look for that too. Can't find it anywhere.
And there's only, what did I make it? It was 30, I think. 30.
Something like that. Yeah.
There was a few limited ones. I did a My Bloody Valentine. I did Freddy vs. Jason. I did a Halloween one. I did 31 of those.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too with your company. You're not just like making parody shirts or shirts that like you can go on a website and get. Like you're getting officially licensed T-shirts from these movie companies, which is really really cool.
Mhm.
And you're making ones that obviously you're not getting from like it's hard to like a Hot Topic or something. Like they're exclusive to you guys. Like
Yeah.
it's a really
Back in the day, it was just the logo. It would just say Halloween, Friday
Yeah.
13th. No characters, just the logos. That's
Yep.
all they were. Maybe you get Texas Chainsaw with the outline of them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. So you guys been doing a lot of things with the stuff out now. The George Romero one is out I think until Saturday tomorrow. It ends
Sunday.
tomorrow. Sunday. So if you're a George Romero fan, which obviously we are here, you can get a George Romero. It's his birthday, right? Birthday shirt.
Yeah, his birthday was yesterday, February 4th.
Yep. And it's a bunch of Easter eggs. It's him at a desk writing, and it's a bunch of Easter eggs of all of his movies around him.
I immediately actually thought Easter eggs. I'm like,
Oh,
is it? I thought, is he doing some Easter movie?
well,
Like,
Jesus was our first zombie, so and then he's the godfather of zombies, so you never know. But and then before that was the Stephen King. I want to keep saying Wes Craven, but it's not. It's Stephen King.
Was it Steven or was it John Carpenter?
The one right before this was Lucio Fulci, and then before that we did John Carpenter. That was last January, and then we did Stephen King before that, and we had done Vincent Price actually a few years ago.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
cool.
And then there's the Dexter lines out. I'm just trying to think like what's out
You got
now.
Nightbreed and
Nightbreed
Host.
Host,
Yep.
which we'll get into because I'm sure you want to talk some Shudder with him. 'Cause you're a big Shudder fan. And then really nice beanies. Are they all sold out? Are the beanies all sold out?
Almost. We've got just a couple of the They Live ones left. We ordered more of that than the other ones, and the Jaws and the Good Guys sold out, and we have a few of the Night of the Living Dead ones left. But they're actually, it's the thing about beanies and stuff like that is, we ordered, I thought, enough, but you just never know. And the problem with that is, we can't now order more and have it in time for like a winter. Like we'd be re-releasing it like late March or early April, and that's a little bit late in the season for beanies. But we'll bring them back at the end of this year. We'll probably bring back those three probably, and we've got the Halloween one we can bring back and things like that. So
The They Live one is awesome because it's a beanie,
Yeah.
but then you can unfold it and pull it down over your face, and it's the full.
that's
it's
cool.
the
Oh, that's
Yeah,
neat.
they just sent out the text
I
like the
never-
other day, right?
Yeah.
That's the first
Yeah.
day it's one to sell.
They went crazy. They went. Luckily, Heidi
Yeah,
ordered
that
me
day.
one. Yeah, and then she's like, I was like, as the good guy one, she was on payday, and then it's like it's sold out. Thanks a lot. Hopefully it comes back. We'll get her back on it.
But
But
it'll be back. Yeah.
there's a little bit of a secret surprise here on the podcast. Do you wanna talk about that?
What are we talking about?
Huh?
What are we talking about?
The gift for somebody.
Oh, so I reached out to Jess because I know she has a big collection of the FRIGHT-RAGS stuff, and I get a lot of stuff that's out of print from her, like through Macari and stuff.
Mhm.
And I told her their story about this shirt that they're fighting over. So she's actually sending them a shirt
What?
of that shirt
Heidi did not know this.
as a gift.
That's cool. I didn't know.
The Donna Dead one?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
she's like, I have 2 of them in my private collection. I
Aw.
will send them one to you. And
Not
she's
nice
like,
of her.
yeah.
Aw,
So
that's nice.
very.
I really like Jess.
I do too. So now I get my T-shirt back.
No, that is amazing. I'll have to text her later and let her know that you surprised them about it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you are getting it's a larger size, but
fine.
you normally wear this as a house shirt
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. So you're getting your own Dawn of the Dead shirt, and Nikolai did all that on his own.
Yep.
So yeah, Nikolai did the front with the footwork there. But he messaged me. He's like, "So you're Dawn of the Dead
You
shirt."
complaining about it.
Yeah, I do complain a lot. I'm like,
Well-
I wanted to wear my shirt.
I figure if anyone's gonna have it, she's probably one of those people that's gonna be like, I'll sell it.
Yeah.
And then she turned around and said, listen, you've bought like a lot of my artwork and stuff and have been a big supporter of FRIGHT-RAGS, that I'm just gonna send it to you. And
That's
I'm
so
like, oh,
nice.
that's awesome.
So she deserves a raise, a high five.
Yeah.
We here at the podcast
Give her a
absolutely
raise,
love her. She's
a bigger
amazing.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is like, it's crazy. She is like a machine. Like, so Heather's the warehouse supervisor. She's got a lot of stuff that she has to deal with in terms of just coordinating a lot of things. And she does obviously help fill orders too. But Jess is like the Energizer bunny in the warehouse. And it's funny because when we do Black Friday, it's a big deal because it's a huge sale for us. And in general, I mean, COVID made it a little more difficult, but in general, we are all hands on deck to fill orders, including myself, for the entire week past Black Friday. And several years ago, we would come in and we'd all get our orders to fill. And I'm telling you right now, I'm in the warehouse. It's like the John Travolta meme where he's just like this.
Yeah.
I don't know where anything is. And it's because things get moved around a lot, they're constantly moving and consolidating and moving things around. So I'm literally looking for a shirt. I'm like, where's They Live? I have no idea where this is. I'm going up and down aisles looking for it. And we realized a few years ago that that's probably not the most efficient way to do it. So Jess will come in and literally just like, boop, 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 and just, they'll literally, stacks upon stacks upon stacks of orders will be waiting there when I walk in and everybody else. And literally, she just feeds us all day with these orders, and she'll stop and start filling some herself and packaging them. But it's worked out much better because she knows where everything is, so she can zip around the warehouse and just. I mean, she's doing like 20,000 steps a day.
And when you order stuff, I want to put this out there too as a customer, and Nikolai can definitely attest. Your orders come quick,
It's
They
super
do.
quick.
really
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I ordered
Like-
that hat the other night, like 10 o'clock at night, and the next morning I had an email that it shipped already.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's just because of how close we are to you guys, but like I'll order it, like you'll release it on a Wednesday and I'll have it by like Friday or Saturday.
It's funny, and again, that's a testament to Heather and Jess. And as long as we have the things in stock and there's no pre-order with it or whatever, they're on top of it. And I was actually seeing posts on Instagram from people who had gotten their beanies already, like today or maybe even yesterday. And I was like,
Okay.
damn.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Where are you guys located at? The warehouse.
We're in Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay. It's not that
Oh.
far.
No, you guys.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
It's about 4 hours away.
Yeah.
5.
My father lives up in Cortland.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yes. So we go up there every now and then. Maybe once this whole pandemic comes over, we'll have to do like a collab where we do an episode in the in the FRIGHT-RAGS
Warehouse.
headquarters. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then you've been like, when did you find out about Fright? Like when did you dive into the FRIGHT-RAGS world? Was it
Well, it was definitely through Monster Mania.
Monster Mania?
I'm sure they had a stand there.
Yeah.
They're always a big
Yeah.
pull for me. Ever since I found them, I want to say Ian was the one who like introduced me to you guys, and then from then on I was hooked. I remember. I do
Spread it to
remember
everybody else.
the first shirt I bought though, and it was the "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This"
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger on it, and I think that's the only Nightmare on Elm Street shirt I have, besides the one that Jess sold me of the Wacky Riders.
Oh yeah, that's just an
Yeah.
viral one like that in the hot rod.
So
Yeah.
I got a whole group of those. But I do have a question about the shipping stuff before we
Yeah.
get too far from that. Why did you guys switch from the toxic candies from the Warheads?
Oh, it
I
was
was
like,
like, where are we going with this?
Well, real quick, just so
So-
when you order, I just want to when you order from Fright Rags, you get your order, and then they always put a sticker
Mhm.
and a piece of candy in it,
And a card.
Oh, that's
and a
nice.
card.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
So-
Did you get candy last time?
I might. I know. I don't think we got candy in that one.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
So, we've been doing Warheads for years and years and years. And again, Jess is the one that orders them. And she has always been great about finding the best deals. Or, we usually use one of two places that we get our Warheads from. Like, it's usually Candy Warehouse or Oriental Trading even. And, she orders them in bulk. So we have enough. And, when she went to go order them, this was several months ago, she's like, I can't find these. Like, they're not restocking them. And she's emailing people, all this stuff. And it was like, are they not making them anymore? Like, what's going on? Because it got to be a little bit. So I was like, okay, well, we don't want to stop putting something in orders, but why don't we just switch to toxic waste for now while we figure it out? So she ordered a bunch of toxic waste candies. But after she ordered them, I actually got in touch with the manufacturer of Warhead. And we were able to order them directly because we literally just got a pallet of 500 pounds of
Oh
Warhead.
my God.
What
Wow.
what
I
started
love
the putting the candy in the bag?
So, I remember following other people as I was kind of coming up with this, and we being on like forums and stuff with other shirt guys and stuff, and we talk about stuff that you put in orders or whatever, and it got me thinking, what can I do that would make sense, and I'm like, when I was a kid, I remember, getting together with my friends, watching horror movies on weekends and all of the nostalgia around it. And I remember always getting candies, whether it was lemon heads or cherry clan or the Boston baked beans, those little boxes that you can get for like 25 cents. But we would get Warheads and we would get tear jerkers and we would dare each other. And I remember one time specifically, my friend dared me how many tear jerkers I could put in my mouth, and I put 10 of them in there. And I actually burned all my taste buds off completely to the point where I couldn't taste for a week. Until literally they regrew, and I had it sounds gross, but I had to peel my taste buds off my tongue in a big sheet.
Oh my God.
And it's just one of those memories, and I thought, it's just a piece of nostalgia. And when it's something like Warheads, people might not like it. And some people are like, I hate these things, and I get it. But it's like, ooh, try it, or ooh, I dare you to try it. And it just sort of, it's fun. It kind of brings back some of that other parts of being a kid again, Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Love
a fun thing.
Then the
stick-
tongue splashers back in the day. They call
Yeah.
it the paint can.
Oh,
Warheads
yeah.
came in a weird it was a toxic waste thing, or there might be toxic waste. There's like if you buy the huge
A little
one.
barrel.
Yeah, the Warheads had different styles. You could get them in like the spray, I think. There was a bunch of
Yeah.
But that was a little bit later on. When I was a kid, it was just the regular candy.
Yeah.
So we did a kind of like a collaboration in the past with Fright Rags that we were really, really proud of at a very early stage of the podcast, where we set up when we first started this whole the podcast, it was just interviews with everyday people, and then it spawned 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 shows, and then we're now down to 5 shows because I still work a 40-hour job, and doing 13 shows was too many. It wasn't actually 13; it was like up to 6 or 7 at one time, but we're down to 5. But the 5 that we have is like the family, and you'll see people on this show and other ones and stuff. But when I first started, it was this show called Interviews with Everyday People, and it was just talking to people and having conversations and learning about them. And he's like, "Yo, I know this guy through the theater, and he played Zelda in the original Pet Sematary."
And actually, the shirt I was wearing the day I found out he was Zelda was the Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. And he's like, "You like horror?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you know about me?" I'm like, "What about you?" Because he was my director for one of the shows when I was an intern at the theater company he works with.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool to get to like work under him, and he's a really good friend of mine now because of it. And he was like, "Oh, well, the movie Pet Sematary?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I was Zelda." And I'm like, No way.
Yeah.
So I like scoured the internet to find like merchandise and all this kind of stuff. And then you guys released him on a shirt and I was so excited. So I was like, all right, well, I got to get him a shirt.
I'm wearing it right
What
now.
if you were wearing that shirt when you met him and he was like, "That's me"?
That would have
No,
been
no.
I did not know Zelda was played by a guy back in the day. I thought it was a woman.
Yeah.
And so you got in contact with Ian, and then Ian makes the pumpkins. So we got him a T-shirt, and we also got him his face that's on this shirt on
we
a
got
pumpkin.
the design carved.
And now, when we say pumpkin, it's not like a pumpkin's gonna
Right,
rot.
it's a
It's a foam pumpkin,
Yeah.
and Ian does a fantastic job. So if you're into
Mhm.
Ian's pumpkins, definitely go check them out. But we did a mini, and then Ian had to contact you guys to make sure you're cool with him using the art, and you guys approved it. So it was kind of like a little mini collaboration that we did almost 2 years ago now, and now we finally have you on the show and having a conversation. So it all comes back, and it's super exciting. Because like I said, we're fans. That sparked me to Fright Rags was that interview, and then I was like, these shirts are fantastic. And then he's like, yeah, I know you have like an addiction to T-shirts, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna unhealthily supply you with more. But
oh, that's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that was really fun. It was really cool to see, to see that connection and to see him having that shirt. And I was like, hey, it all comes around full circle,
And then you guys actually sent us a set of pins that we did a giveaway for. And then you made that really cool video where you put the sound from the movies and used the pins.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah.
And then we gave Andy a set of the pins as well, so he can have himself.
Yeah. They were. I love the pins. If I had a request as a fan, is every time you two would do a T-shirt line, sneak a few pins in there. I'm a big pin guy. I love pins.
Yeah, I mean, we might be doing more. I don't know. We've sort of moved away from those a little bit. I think interest started waning a little bit in the pin thing, at least for ours. But we still think of ideas for like the movable ones, and anytime we kind of think of something that we're like, ooh, that would be a good pin, we always try to sneak it in there.
I really liked the Ghostbuster mystery pins because it actually had like the holder that you could open up and like display the pin and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Joe was the one that designed that?
Yeah, he designed a whole. It's funny because we'll sit around talking about ideas and we're like, oh my god, what if we did this? That would be incredible. But then like Joe is this mastermind, and he'll go off and like mock these things up and make it, and we'll look at it and like, oh, originally it might have gone to retail, so we were trying to design it with that in mind, but then we realized it was just going to be exclusive to us and a limited thing and all that. So that was and that made it more special anyway. But and then I loved the ad he put together for it because it reminded me of like just like something from an 80s magazine or even like commercial where it was like the smoke and the ooze, the slime around it. And I was like, that is the coolest, like I don't know. He's so amazing at what he does, and very fortunate that he's working with us.
So what is your what have been some of your favorite lines that you guys got to produce, or some shirts or items that has come out of Fright Rags that are your personal favorites?
Oof. It's like choosing a child, right? It's hard. I mean, obviously, and I know this is probably old news, but like my favorite movie is Halloween, and obviously working with that license for me has been just an incredible experience over the last 8 years now. And I was worried when we first got the license. I was ecstatic, and I was like, oh my god, what are we gonna do that hasn't been done before? And I was like, oh my god, I don't know. It's almost like writer's block in a way. And I feel like in that time we've released a lot of cool stuff, mostly apparel. But I'll tell you, in recent memory of something that really hit that mark was the lunchbox we did. It actually, I'll show it to you. It's
seen on the website too. I was like, oh my god, that lunchbox.
It's awesome.
This thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the things that makes it is the thermos.
Oh, you get the thermos.
yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I have another friend, Joe, who runs a company called Fourth Castle, and he works with companies to do products like the lunchbox and these nanoforce figures that we ended up doing. And we had been talks to do the Halloween lunchbox at the end of 2019. This was actually supposed to be an exclusive to Diamond, which was going to sell it to a larger market, maybe Target or other places. And we had the license, so Joe and I were going to collaborate on it and then they would sell it direct through Diamond. So it would still be our product, but it really wasn't going to go through us. It was all going to be retail, all that, which was fine because we weren't at the time thinking in that mode of we wanted to do lunch boxes. This was just an opportunity that came our way. So we designed it. Our Joe designed this lunchbox in the thermos, and I was so excited for it. And I'm like, well, I at least need to get one, And then I was at Toy Fair last February to help promote it with the other Joe from Fourth Castle, and this is one of the things we were promoting. And then COVID hit, and obviously a lot of people just shut down, and Diamond, wasn't ordering, and no one knew what was going to happen. And we had a significant amount of time and money invested in this project, and we thought, okay, maybe it'll be next year or something. And then I got on the phone with Joe from Fourth Castle, and it was the lunchbox and those Nanoforce Army figures that we put out. I said, you know what? Why don't we just sell them?
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll take care of it. And it all worked out. Diamond was cool with it. The buyer there is awesome. He's a friend of ours. So he's like, yeah, go for it. He goes, I don't know when we're going to do this. If we need to do it later, we can. I'm like, no problem. So we basically brought it on as a FRIGHT-RAGS, limited, exclusive, And when I finally got this thing in the mail as a sample, I'm a kid of the 80s. I had the Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox growing up. I had the He-Man lunchbox growing up. And I've seen lunchboxes out there. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street lunchboxes. I've seen other lunchboxes out there. But they just, for me personally, not knocking anybody, but they don't hit the mark. They're just it's a tin box with a piece of the poster slapped on.
Yeah, how they ever come with the thermos.
They never come with a thermos, and it doesn't even have the embossing or the little ridge here. And this is made to look weathered like it was out in 1970.
Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah.
Are they still available?
So this is what we did. And again, a lot of this has to do with we're a small company. There's 8 of us. We can't. A lunchbox is something we can just keep having on the shelves and provide forever, right? There's got to be some sort of limitation. So with the lunchbox, we said, okay, we will take orders for 5 days, just like we're doing with the Romero shirt.
Yeah.
Let's take the orders to gauge the demand. We did that. We cut it off. And so we were able to go to our factory. Now, we already had to make a minimum of a certain number, but we were able to give them, they sold significantly more, which blew my expectations. Then they produce them and they ship them to us, and then we get them shipped out. But we were able to order extras, so they weren't limited by number, they were just limited in that time frame. So if you could order in that 4 or 5 days, you were guaranteed to get one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad you guys do that.
Mm.
Just as fans, because the varsity hoodie was like that when you did the reprint, and I remember people being so bummed that they sold out so fast the first time, and just having that window of being you do it during this, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's again, some things will inherently be limited by number or whatever, and that just happens. But we do try, it's not like we're trying to limit. It's not like other, I know people always joke about Mondo, and I love Mondo, but their posters are sold out in 2 seconds, and listen, they have their own reasoning for why they have a certain number. And I know licensing has to do a lot with that. And I'm not putting them down for what they do, but I get it. I get the frustration that some people might have. So with something like the lunchbox, I didn't want, listen, the Nanoforce was another one where we had already committed to this number, and it was kind of impossible. Well, I wouldn't say impossible, but it would have been harder for us to add to that order. And also, I didn't know what demand was going to be for those. It really didn't. People you should have known you were going to sell more than that. Really? If you have that, I would love it, because I'll tell you right now, you don't know. And we sold 2,500 of those in 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
10 minutes flat. And I was like, oh shit.
Yes, we just become a lunchbox company.
We just pissed off a shit ton of people, and I didn't want to do that. We're actually re-releasing that this year, but we're flipping the colors, so it doesn't hurt the people that got in the first time. They still have some mystique, but we're at least opening up to a second round, and it'll say second edition on it, so that you can still get it and enjoy it without paying freaking $200 on eBay, which is insane. These things were $20. So with the lunchbox, we're let's open it up. And so now we have extras. They're actually on the boat right now, and we'll get them all shipped out. And then we'll have a fair amount of extras. that we can say, hey, if you missed it, get it. And they most likely will sell it. And then once they're done, I don't know if it'll be back because we have another lunchbox coming very soon. We've got a few other things coming. So, it's hard just to keep rerunning those when we've got other things going.
Which is huge too. So if you're listening to this and you are a fan or anything, that's why it's important to sign up for the newsletter. That's why it's important to sign up for the text alerts, because it's not you're definitely not a company who's trying to do the exclusive thing or the get it now, or like it's not
It goes on at 10 a.m. and then we sold out.
A 5-day window is very, very gracious.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you're still it's a small company trying to do cool things, and that's awesome.
Inherently things will be limited to a degree. It's just we do try to, we do try to make it available as much as we can, but at some point things will be gone and they either might not ever come back or it'll be a while,
Yeah.
Kind of like when you do the things with Ian, where he you have a shirt design and then he carves it on the pumpkin and you do the bundle. Those are gone in like 10 minutes some of the time.
Yeah, and those have to be limited because we can't just keep having Ian carve pumpkins. Like we have to set it, and we know that they'll probably go quickly. But again, the other thing is these things also take a long time to package and ship out. Like there are other factors that we have to consider because we're constantly releasing things. So you could, some people might say, well, stop releasing things, but then it's like
stop making money.
Yeah. But it's just like the time we release things to be like, well, I'm at work or I'm at school. I get that. I understand that, but there is literally no time we could pick that is good for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
Take it back.
We're not intentionally trying to make you like miss work or something. Like that's not our goal. It's we have to figure out what works, and it sucks because I know it doesn't work for everybody. I get it, but I don't, you can only do so much. You have to at some point draw a line and say, this is what we're going to do. And if you can't get in on that, I'm really sorry, but we have to move forward,
5 days. It's not like content. So it's 10 a.m. and you have, till it's sold out and sold out.
You would actually be surprised. There are some people that contact us like, oh, I missed out. Can I still get this like 2 minutes after it was on? I'm
like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know what's going on in people's lives. I get it, but sometimes it's like, really? I thought that was enough time, but
now, as someone who's a business owner and you see someone buy a lunchbox or a T-shirt and it goes on eBay and you see it and they're reselling at a higher value, what is the thought process of someone like when you create something and then you have enough of a demand in your small business that people are you're becoming a high collectible, like.
It's weird. On one hand, again, I tell people, because people were pissed about the Nanoforce thing and like they're on eBay and you should have limited. I'm like, we limited it to per person. I thought that was fair because again, we didn't know how fast they'd sell. But I know as a collector, I'd want one to open and one to keep sealed, And listen, even if you limited it one per person, there's still gonna be flippers, And if it's limited, there'll be flippers. So I don't like the idea that they're on there for so much money, and I don't want people to pay more than that they should. But yeah, there's an element where I'm like, wow, like sometimes I'll go through eBay and I'll see what is sold under FRIGHT-RAGS. And I'm like, that's interesting. We had a shirt years ago. We did a Hellraiser shirt. This was before we even had a license. And it was a limited edition. I think we made 400 of them. It was sold out like within, I don't know, it was quick. And this was years ago. So we were less than half the size we are now. And so we had found one shirt. This was probably a year later. It was a 2X. And I'm like, I can't just throw that one shirt up on the website. Like it's dumb. So we're like, let's just put it on eBay. We'll start it at $25 because that I think we sold the limited editions back then were 26. Let's put it for 25, no reserve, whatever. And it sold for $100.
Wow.
Cow.
I was like, what now? It's so weird. It's cool. I have to say it is flattering to a degree. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would be lying if I said, oh, it's not flattering. I mean, it is. But again, I don't necessarily like the idea that people are intentionally trying to profit by buying something limited and flipping it.
I would agree. Like, we obviously like off camera, we make jokes at the podcast. Like, what if one day this table that we're on, because everyone always compliments the table, this table sells for $10,000 because it was the original. Like that's a dream to get to a point where you're popular enough or have enough of demand that people are making your old school stuff collectibles. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
and I think it's cool. Like I'm a fan of it. I do the scalping thing sucks, but on the other hand, the other side of that is fun.
It's cool that there's such demand.
Yeah. And you guys have any questions about t-shirts or?
I was gonna say there's more than just shirts. I know I've seen lounge pants and stuff
Yep.
on there, so I was gonna ask them whether apparel is on there other than just t-shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got socks, we got lounge pants. Obviously, we do like hoodies and stuff. What am I missing? I mean, we also, I mean, other than apparel, we do things like trading cards. We do these mini masks. We do decorations. Like we're doing more figures this year, but we did Joe Bob figures last year, and yeah, we basically dabble in a lot of different things. T-shirts are still our core item, but we kind of go in some ways where the wind takes us because we're like, that would be kind of cool, or something like the lunchbox kind of came up, and now it's become part of our our roster of things that we can do.
Cool.
And you just had posters and stuff for random ones, like I know candy corn, right?
Yeah, so we used to do screen printed posters a lot more a while ago. It's harder. It was at one point harder to get licensing for that because usually Mondo has an exclusive, which again, I understand that. But I'll be honest with you, again, shipping, if you ordered a poster and a t-shirt, that's a pain in the ass to ship.
Yeah, posters are. Yeah,
You get 24 tube, or whatever, and then a t-shirt, and you're like, I got to put it in this big old box. And I know it sounds weird, but it's true. It's the candy corn one was 11 by 17. That could go in the same bag as a t-shirt. That was easy. So it's, posters, we usually can't get the rights to do those, but also it's just kind of became a little bit more of a pain for what it was worth,
Right.
I think
another thing we've been doing.
tapestries are the way to go.
there you
They
go.
should make
fold
wall
them up.
tapestries like posters and just call
There
it.
you go. Yeah.
I always liked them for the metal ones. I bought them.
Yeah. Anyone else have questions? I have one thing I have, but I'll let you guys go because I've been talking.
Well, tell them to put a t-shirt in the lunchbox, double the money.
Bang.
I was curious if you're going to get any more American Horror Story or Ghostbuster gear because I was looking at that, but I didn't see. I'm not too big on the clown from American Horror Story, so I didn't know if you do any cool like cup and stuff. That was that was my personal American Horror Story favorite.
Unfortunately, American Horror Story, no. Only because we let the rights go at the end of last year. So it was part of a larger deal that we decided to not renew. And for Ghostbusters, similar thing. We're actually in negotiations of renewing that license right now. It's been taking a little bit longer than I was hoping. But I'm really hoping that we can finally get it through so we can do, because I've got some other ideas for new Ghostbusters stuff that I really want to do, and I just want to get this thing renewed and
like a ghost trap lunchbox.
Well, especially when the movie comes out, people are gonna be looking for merch.
That's right. Anything with Slimer coming out?
I mean, again, if we can, right now we still have our little mini mask of Slimer available on the website, that and Stay Puffed. That's still available.
Cool.
Stay Puft was really cool.
We're in the
That's nice.
but yeah, if we can renew, then there'll be more Slimer.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love Slimer.
Awesome.
We were talking off camera. My favorite line that I messaged her me like, I'm ordering this. I don't care. I'm sorry. If we don't eat this week. When Rocky Horror Picture Show came out, was a big one for me. So I got the shirt and the pin.
Yep.
Yeah, I was, and that the rights for that are gone as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we did a whole
bummer.
episode on Rocky.
That was part of our American Horror Story deal and other stuff. It was, it was just time to. We had certain licenses for a while, and just the transition from Fox to Disney, and it was just like, all right, let's just let that cool off for now, and we'll go in another direction because we signed a bunch of other stuff.
So I know this story just because I've been a huge fan of you guys, but maybe not so many people do. Your shirt was released in a movie. This is the end.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like for you guys?
This is the end of comedy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jay wears
I
their
missed that.
design.
Yeah, Jay
Oh.
Baruchel. If you ever watch that movie, Jay Baruchel, the entire movie wears our shirt, which is a zombie versus shark shirt. So it was
Oh,
it was a
nice.
design release
Nice.
that.
that was based on Full Cheese Zombie, obviously, and then Jeff Zorno did the artwork. It was amazing. It's a zombie fighting a shark, and it literally says zombie versus shark.
yes.
So in 2012, we got a call from Sony out of the blue. And this is before we even had any licensing for stuff. And, the zombie versus shark was more of an homage, if you will. And Sony called us and they said, hey, we would like to use one of your t-shirts in a movie. And you know, we've gotten requests like that. Even back then we'd gotten a few requests, and a lot of times it just never pans out, you know. So I was like, okay, you know, I mean, it sounds great, but I'm like, we'll see. Well, they're like, oh, well, send us some ideas or designs that you have. And I did. And they're like, oh, we'd like to use this one. It was Zombie versus Shark. They said, but we want to print it not on a black shirt. We need to have it on a gray shirt with these blue sleeves. So they needed the artwork, and there was a lot of back and forth. And of course, I had to sign a lot of these documents, and they would email me at like 10:30 at night. Hey, we need the artwork like right now because it's going to set and all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And they're like, it's James Franco and Seth Rogen and Jay Baruchel. And of course, I mean, I love
Everybody's in it.
but I was like, you know, even at the time, I was sort of like, what is this going to be? Like, what is this? You know, I didn't know. And so a few months later, they sent me a photo of him wearing it on set. I'm like, that's cool, you know? And I really didn't think much of it. And then New Year's Eve, they, 2012 and 2013, they premiered the trailer. And it was so funny because my phone started blowing up. I was like, what is going on? Like, I think I saw your shirt in a trailer. I think I saw your shirt. Is that your shirt? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? And I saw the trailer and I was like, oh shit. That's a real thing. Like, it became real.
And he's like the co-star of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
He's in from the beginning to the
Mhm.
to the end. Yeah.
But one of the funny things is, and spoiler alert if you don't mind, but basically before the movie came out, it was actually, I think it was after the trailer was debuted. So, but it was before the movie came out. Got a call from Sony at the office, and this woman was on the other line. It was like, she sounded very young, so I think she was probably like an intern, but she sounded very nervous to talk to me. She was like, kind of like, you could hear her almost shaking in her voice, and I was like, it's like, I'm really sorry. And she starts like kind of going, I'm like, what's happening right now? Basically, what had happened was, at the end of the movie, again, spoiler alert, they die, and they're in heaven. They're with the Backstreet Boys, and they're all
Best scene.
and they're dancing. But
Best scene ever.
his shirt is the white shirt with our design, but the design is printed in like that silvery like applique type of thing.
Yeah.
So what happened was, because they shot that without our approval, in the sense that we didn't approve the use of our work doing that, they were worried that they might get sued or whatever. And again, from me, I mean,
If you can just get everyone on set to autograph that shirt and send it back.
so they don't, you know, obviously they're not thinking of us as, you know, we could have been anybody. We could have been a big company, whatever. And they're just trying to make sure that they need to, you know, have all their T's crossed, their, you know, in their eyes. I understand that. And I was like, that's totally fine. And you could tell she's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm more upset that you just ruined the end of the movie for me. Like, why did you do that?
Shut down production.
Yeah. So I mean, it was,
Come to my house and do a personal concert with Craig
I
Lobby.
want to get flown there first.
I want the shirts. From the back.
The day it came out, Chris Tansky, who was our production manager, he was working with us at the time, but he wasn't full time yet. He was still the manager at the theater, and we would always go see movies like the day before they were released, and he would just have us come in before the movie theater opened and we watch movies. So before the movie theater even opened, he had all of us come and we watched This Is the End together by ourselves in the theater.
Yeah.
And,
It's a good movie.
it was so rad.
My favorite, like if you ever reprinted it on that raglan, that
I'd
would be
buy it.
my big pick.
I'd buy it.
So I'm assuming the shirt jumped up in price then. After
Oh yeah, I can't.
Yeah, so what happened was,
sales.
we actually re-released the shirt on that exact blank, the gray and the blue, and it was like the This Is the End variant, if you will. And that sold really good for a while. You know, it petered out after a while. I mean, things come and go in popularity. Yeah. That one, that was wild, man. And it's funny, I was trying to get a hold of Sony, and this is before we had started working with them on licensing. So we didn't really have a relationship, but I was trying to get a hold of them before we released it, because I was worried that if we released the shirt looking like that, they would have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to call them and get them on the phone, blah, blah. And I finally got someone like, they mistook me, because we wanted to do it like the day it was released. They thought I wanted a license agreement for This Is the End. And they're like, oh, we can get a deal done in time. That's really close. I'm like, no, I just want to release the t-shirt. And they're like, oh, well, that's your artwork. Go ahead and do it. Like, okay, God. So I was one that was worried that I was going to get sued.
So we're another big thing that we're big fans of here on the show. And if this is a thing, Heidi, I'm sorry, it's happening. But we like subscription boxes, those mystery subscription boxes. And we always sit there and say, like, man, a FRIGHT-RAGS mystery box. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Do the mystery shirts. sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Has
So-
it been talked about? Is it something that's thinking about?
Yeah, I've thought about it for a while. I think there's a lot of issues with that. It's logistics. Number one is just figuring it all out. You know, when do you cut off orders, and what if someone has to change the size? And honestly, the other thing is sizing, and what do we put in it, and we want to make it special. It's a big, like, especially like when we do something, I want to make sure it's right. Like sometimes you just got to jump in and do it and then figure it out. And that we would have to do that with this probably, but I got to wrap my head around something first to make sure. I don't want to do a subscription box just to do one.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I want to make sure it's something interesting and special and has sort of a hook to it. And I haven't put any real time or effort into that because we have so many other things going on. And quite frankly, these days, like my bandwidth is like maxed out with stuff that I'm constantly, I don't have enough time in the day to work on other stuff, you know? So it's difficult because unfortunately, there's also a lot of day-to-day stuff that I need to do that just sort of requires my attention, and it ends up, and a lot of times it's not the fun stuff. Like I literally spent all week this week dealing with taxes, state taxes, this VAT thing for Brexit for the UK. That's a whole thing because we can't ship to the UK right now because of the rules they changed. And there's honestly a lot of just not fun stuff that you have to do to get through. And there's also product development. You know, there's a lot of other product development, and there's other things that are honestly like, I'm really excited about the figures we have coming up. Like I'm so excited about those, and I'm excited about this new lunchbox and the new Nanoforce we have coming out for another property in a couple months. And like, there's a few things we have in the works that I end up just going, oh, I really want to work on that. You know what I mean? And they just, they suck up the other energy that I have, but they're things that I start moving toward, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I always compare, we were talking about it off camera, like we were fan pitching your idea, like of the box. And I said, it reminds me of like pro wrestling tees, like a pro wrestling tees, you know, when you order t-shirts and then the shipping comes out, you're a t-shirt and a shipping. And then if you want to throw another shirt on pro wrestling tees, you're looking at like a $40-$45 because the shipping's high, and they're not as big a company either, but they're like the top of the line when it comes to pro wrestling. And but their subscription box is you get 2 t-shirts, but they're exclusive designs that you can't get from their website. So like, if you did like the They Live line, like your artist is like a color variant or just a different thing that just be for the box. And like I said, now that you're doing the toys and the socks, it'd be something when I know you're small, but when it gets big, if it ever happens, you will definitely know that we will be doing unboxing videos on this channel. But yeah,
honestly, I hope you bring back, I don't know if there's any plans for it or not, but I really loved those big like VHS things like you did with the Creep Show and
the Creep Show one was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to form like a collection on a bookshelf of just those giant plastic cases.
That would be
Yeah, we had a few more of those in the works that we never really got to, and it really just comes down to what, when we look at a property and we look at what we've done with it, what we could be doing with it, and then honestly, sometimes it becomes a little bit more of it's logistics, but it's also just getting, making sure the rights, like some companies are a little more stickler when it comes to what you do and how you do it. So it's a little bit more of a hurdle. But I'll tell you, just in this last year, we grew. We were doing fine before, and things were going really well. But we grew like 45 to 50% last year.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's
You definitely deserve it.
well, thank you. And I wouldn't have never. And I know a lot of other companies in our space and other spaces have done great last year, which is awesome. But I never would have expected that in the year of this crazy pandemic. And to be honest, and I only bring that up because it's been an adjustment for us. I mean, we hired one more person late last year to help with the capacity, just in terms of order fulfillment. But it's hard, and it presents itself a lot of challenges that we have to face. So now we're in this period of okay, we just grew way more in a year than we ever would have. And how do we handle this growth? And does it continue to steadily go up? Does it level off? Does it go down as things get back to normal? Like, what does that look like? And we have to forecast a little bit and figure it out. So we think of those things, and honestly, even January and up till now, we had our biggest January ever, period. And Januaries are always our slow month. Like, and that's fine. It's always been our slow month. I don't mind that, but it was crazy last month. Like, I'm like, what is happening? I'm not complaining, but like, holy shit, like, insane. So in some ways, it's a little like someone just got into the driver's seat and put the pedal down to the metal, and now we're all like this. And so it's been challenging, and again, not in a bad way. It's just there's a lot of things that have come up that we've had to figure out on the fly, literally on the fly. So it sometimes we've definitely got a lot of cool new things in the works. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I never would have dreamed we'd be working on that we're working on, but it ends up putting all these other ideas we've had sort of to the side because we just don't have time and bandwidth to do them all, you know?
I'm always a big thing of speaking into existence. What is your holy grail license line that you always want to do, that it maybe a slip through, or it's always in the back of your head, like, if I can get this one, this is it?
Well, we have
It would have been Halloween, but obviously we have that. So everything now is just a cherry on top. It's still Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street for me. And the reason is we've done a lot of shirts for those in the years. We used to do a lot of the, in and out, few day limited edition, get it now and it'll be gone forever. And you do that partially because you don't have the rights. You don't want to get caught. You don't want to get sued. And, that's just the name of the game. And, we're not the only ones that did it. We didn't invent it and whatever. But at the same time, several years ago, we transitioned out of that because we were working with studios and we were getting licensing. And I personally felt, especially for something like Friday the 13th and even Nightmare on Elm Street, that it wasn't, this is just me personally talking, I didn't want to keep doing that stuff while we were also doing all this license stuff. I said, you know what? No, we won't do that again. Let's just make that cut off right now. And to be completely honest, we probably left a lot of money on the table because we still could have been doing that in addition to our license stuff. But I really felt strong that we should discontinue doing anything like that until we got the proper rights to those films and anything else that we were doing in that manner. And listen, there are movies that you can literally not get the rights, like can't find it. You go to the right people, you go to the right studios, and they all claim they don't have it. So you're like, all right. We'll put it out. And if someone wants to come after us, good. Now we know who owns it and we'll give you money, and that's only happened literally a couple times, but stuff like Friday the 13th where who owns it. In the problem with that franchise and even A Nightmare on Elm Street is it's right now, it's just tied up in litigation. And there are companies still releasing official stuff like NECA and things like that, but they've had deals for a long time and they've been able to still do that. But to get in there now, and even, I've been trying for 5-6 years at this point. I've been to their offices in LA. I meet with them every year at licensing show. I email them all the time. I've sent them countless samples of our work, and it's just for one way or another, because these companies have different ways of working. They're just not either taking on new licensees, and honestly, the horror stuff for them is small potatoes when you've got Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all these other things, right? Again, their bandwidth, right? Like, horror for us is like, oh my God, but they're this company that has to take care of all these things and new product and stuff like that. So Friday the 13th isn't the biggest thing on their radar. And, oh, by the way, the producer's suing them and there's rights issues with the right. That's never going to get touched, Yeah. And that sucks because I'm like, damn it, I just want to do these shirts.
Friday the 13th was interesting. And we, didn't learn a lot about all that behind the tape, like red tape stuff, but we were big fans of the Friday the 13th video game, and it was fan-made game, and it was like hide and seek video game, and it was so much fun. And we kickstarted it, and we funded it to start, and then they're like, oh, we got all this permission, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, you can't do it, and you can't even go in there and fix your game at all. So whatever the game is, it's stuck there forever.
Yeah, it's and that was a shitty situation because they were on the cusp, you know, and then it kind of blew up. And I mean, at least they were able to put some things out, but then they can't, you know, keep feeding it and keep working on it. And that,
Yeah, they had plans to put all the, like, every version of Jason in. They were going to make a Jason X map. They were going to add more maps to play on. Like,
I
it
know.
was so much fun, and then it just kind of like died. And it's one of those games that, like, if it had the opportunity to keep making it, they would have been so much, like, it would have been such a good time, and it just kind of like fell to the wayside. And it's a huge missed opportunity for the franchise, I feel. And they're just, but I guess I know, I understand everybody wants money, and money is fun, but it, as like fan service, like, I did definitely, it sucks.
I know, I agree. And I'm speaking as a fan too. I want to
Mhm.
see it, you know, like
Yeah.
I want to see a new movie. I want to see new life breathed into this franchise, and I hope it does happen someday. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really, you know, it may seem cliche to say, but those are definitely the ones I want to work with. I mean, we've been extraordinarily blessed to be able to work with almost anything I've ever wanted to work with. And again, it's either because it was something tied up with Warner Brothers, or the rights have just been in some weird limbo that we haven't been able to work with some things. But I mean, just, I look back at what we've been able to do, and I was like, I can't, it's sometimes it's really hard to believe sometimes, because I'm just like, I can't believe we've done all this stuff for all these movies. It's pretty,
Yeah.
well.
Now, you also, you've been diving into not just your major franchise movies. The big thing, if you're a horror fan, everyone's flocking to it, is Shudder. Shudder's been amazing, and it started off at small, and it's like, oh, it's a streaming server for $7 a month or whatever it was. It's like, there's nothing going to be good on there, and then you go on there and you find these classic B-roll movies. I love those movies. The cheesier, the better for me. And then they kind of took off, and they got bigger licenses to put older movies on and cooler movies, and then they start doing original movies. And it seems like you guys are kind of stepping in there as well, and you're becoming the licensing for these movies that are being Shudder exclusives, are giving these movie studios or these filmmakers an opportunity to get merchandise for their films. And it's a double deal. It's like, hey, check out Shudder and our movie, and then you can also go to Fright-RAGS and get the t-shirt. Like, how did that come about, and when did how did that all, like, come to fruition?
I think
Hang there. I took a stroke, I think.
it's interesting. So I kind of knew some of the people in and around the Shudder when they started coming out, you know, when they first came out several years ago. And I had been in contact with a couple people around there, but nothing, you know, really in talks of what we were going to do together. And this is before they really started diving into original content. I think it was probably a combination of two things. One is Joe Bob. So we had been working with Joe Bob since 2016. So before The Last Drive-In and all that, we had been working with him personally to do stuff for Monster Vision. We had him out here in Rochester to do a whole thing for the Warriors. That was an amazing weekend. He and I, we hung out and smoked so many cigars and drank so much whiskey that weekend. It was ridiculous. Like, that guy knows how to party. I'm telling you right now. He was amazing. He just listening to his stories was incredible. But anyway, he, you know, coming onto Shudder, it was like, oh, and we've been working with him, and we should do a shirt for the show that you're doing on Shudder, and it's this 24 hours thing. And so that was already sort of in, because we had to start talking to Shudder about how we would use the logo, because they own certain things and Joe Bob owns certain things. So we had this conversation, and that obviously worked out really well. Joe Bob broke the internet and clearly became so popular again, which is so awesome. And we were so lucky to be kind of riding alongside that. I mean, we didn't, you know, we had nothing to do with it, but I mean, just being there to be able to make merch for it and support it with that was amazing, and still is. So that kind of opened our relationship up to Shudder. And I talked to Craig, who's the head over there. We've talked a few times over email and had some calls, and we kind of always had this open communication about how we could work together. And other people over there, William, Sean, there's a bunch of people over there I talked to, and they've just been really cool and over the last few years. And so anything that comes up, like the Black Lives Matter shirt we did last year, they contacted me and they said, hey, we really want to do a charity shirt. Would you be up for it? I said, absolutely. You just tell me what you want to do, and we're gonna do it. And we worked together on that shirt, which was awesome. I mean, that we raised $67,000 for charity for that. You know, that was incredible. You know, things like that. And then, you know, I would be like, hey, you know, let us in when you're doing more Joe Bob stuff, so we can be in the know, so we can kind of run things together. And things, and then other stuff would happen. So it's like a movie would come out, like, oh, would you want to do a shirt for that? And sometimes it was directly through Shudder, sometimes it was just through the people who wrote the movie, like Damien Maffei. He was in Haunt. He's the one that got me hooked up with the Haunt people, Beck and Woods, to talk to them about doing shirts for it. That was cool. And then Jed Shepard from Host, the screenwriter, he wrote me about doing the shirt, and we got in touch with Neil, and then Shudder wanted to make sure they own the artwork and everything. So it's been very organic, but it's just so cool because, again, I love that service. I wish I could consume as much on there as I could. My time has been limited. I don't get to watch tons of stuff these days, but I do try to turn it on and check out what they got going on. I just watched Satan's Slave a couple months ago, the one from Indonesia from 1982. And I want to watch the remake that they was a Shudder exclusive that came out 2 years ago that I heard so much about. But it's just so great. I'm just so glad it exists.
Yeah.
We actually want to do like a spin-off to this show. Like, it's still part of it. We're gonna do it like maybe on the not the normal days we record, like a Saturday or Sunday, and we want to do like Shudder reviews, like Shudder movie reviews.
That's great.
You reviewed Haunt on Sarah's podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys watched Haunt and you did a review of it.
Yeah, I like that one.
What was some of your ones that stood out for you for Shudder?
That one was my top one. That was my favorite
Haunt?
so far. Yeah. I just watched Host. That was good.
And you can get Host merchandise from FRIGHT-RAGS.
And they released the 19th. You're shipping them out February?
Yes, I believe it's that the week of the 19th. Yep. Yeah, we just released that one. Yeah, I loved Host. I thought, that was one of those that as soon as it hit like online, I feel like everybody had already it's like one of those things you almost feel like you've missed out on something and it's only been out for 24 hours,
Yeah.
Like clock to it.
That's WandaVision right now.
Yeah, I grabbed my exactly. I grabbed my laptop and went out on my back porch and had a cigar and watched that movie one night, and I was like, this is really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed that film.
Was the train one Shudder?
Train to
Train to Busan.
Yeah, was that Shudder?
Not the sequel.
No.
It wasn't. The sequel wasn't on Shudder, was it?
I don't think so. I feel like I watched it on Netflix.
I don't know. She, like I said, she consumes so much horror. I don't know what platform it's on. We had to buy Shudder for her because she went through everything on Netflix and Hulu, and she's like, and I was like, just get Shudder. She's like, okay. So that's what was the one you watched with the dog, with the giant monster dog, and they were doing like.
Oh, that was on Shudder. Was it Monster? I don't remember.
I remember while like this.
Monster?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah. That one was really good.
Yeah, they're awesome service. If you don't subscribe, definitely go check it out. If you're in the chat and you have a question for Bill or you want to ask him anything at Ben, yeah, not Bill. I'm sorry.
You could ask Bill too.
You guys, Bill.
Maybe
I
Bill
was
will
gonna
ask
say
somewhere.
Bill because Bill just stayed in the chat room. I was gonna pull it up in 1 second. If you have a question for Ben, FRIGHT-RAGS or just horror movie related shirt stuff or anything related, definitely put it in the chat. But Bill is a fan also of FRIGHT-RAGS. He commented when we posted we were gonna have this, and he's like, I have a dresser full of FRIGHT-RAGS shirts as well. So if you say, Bill, let us know what shirts you own, and we can be jealous, and maybe you can sell them on eBay for $100 a pop because they're getting popular. But he said he just watched the Mary Shelley movie that they just put out.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I'll have to check that out.
AMA, I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
Alma?
Ask me anything. Is that what he's saying?
Oh, ask me anything. Okay, maybe I don't know. You kids and your lingos.
Oh, they make knee pads for wrestling on AMA.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it too. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, so you said you might be diving into some stuff outside of the horror movie realm when it comes to FRIGHT-RAGS. Is there anything you can you let us know that, or is that still on the?
No, we teased something. We always do like a preview of coming attractions in the beginning of we do it every month for stuff that's actually it's coming out like within the next few weeks. But we do sort of this video every year, the show kind of new stuff we're putting out. So I think we've teased most all these, but we've got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure coming out this year. We're doing Back to the Future.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Oh my god!
Because I saw that movie when it came out. I got home and I just kept riding my bike, trying to get up to 88 miles per hour. Thinking that was
I have a question before we go too far from that.
Go for it.
Will there be part 3 stuff, or is that a
I hope
gray
not.
area of not? No, that was my favorite one.
You always like the weird ones.
3 was awful.
Part 3 where they go into the western.
I mean, we can do it. We have the franchise, but
Okay.
I don't know right now exactly. We're still in the very early stages of figuring out what we can do, can't do, and what we want to do, that type of thing.
Well, I will
I'm
buy
not
it
gonna rule
all.
it out, but you know.
Buy it all.
Yeah. Bill said it'd be easier to tell you the shirts he doesn't own.
Great. And then we got the Burbs, and
Oh wow.
and the People Under the Stairs is going to be another one too. So,
Good one.
Cool one.
A roach shirt.
yeah. So, but again, a lot of those movies, we're very limited on what we can use with likenesses. And in fact, I think even if I'm not mistaken, the Burbs and People Under the Stairs, I don't think have ever been licensed for apparel. Like,
I've never seen a Burb shirt ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an official one. Yeah, I don't think it's, and if it does exist, it's a long time ago. It hasn't been anything in recent memory or years. So we're really excited to work with it. And again, limitations can be fun. It can be fun to figure out, like, what can you do when you can't use their face? I mean, Jaws was a big one for us. When we first got Jaws, it was like, yes, we can do a shirt that's not just the poster art. Wait a minute, what can we use? The poster art? That's it? Oh, fuck. So it's like, we had to get creative. And that's when, Justin and I came up with this idea of, like, Roy Scheider's doing a chum and he's turned away because in the movie he's turned away and you're inside the shark's mouth. So you're seeing it completely 180. So having to really kind of think about those things, it causes you to push you into some creative directions that you might not have gone in if you could just slap the person's face on it, which again, that is great when we can do it. Believe me, it's great. But we also, sometimes you just can't do it and we have to get creative.
Yeah. You have a teaser you're coming out. You're doing the Invisible Man, the original Invisible Man. And we had, how do you say
It's
John's
gonna
last
be an
name?
invisible
Soyster.
shirt.
Choister.
I'm holding it right now. It's right
Yeah,
there.
there it is. That's the new shirt. It looks great.
So
That one officially-
John,
Soyster.
thank you. I'll never say it right. I don't know. I can't say. I always say like
It's
shyster
It's
or
oyster, but with a shoy.
So like
soyster.
soy.
Oyster.
It's like soy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Soyster.
Oyster with
There you
an
go. You
SH.
got it. Soy.
What
Oyster?
cartoon
SH.
character do I sound like right now?
I don't know.
Soyly. Who is that?
Three Stooges.
Yeah, I'm not a cartoon character. So yeah.
Sylvester.
So anyway, John was on the show and he's doing a book with Claude's daughter.
Yes.
He did a book with
He
Claude's
did.
daughter.
Yep, it's out. Or
And,
it's coming out this summer.
We're actually going to be ordering a shirt of the Claude for his daughter and for John. So as soon as that comes out, we're super excited to send those over to him.
Yes.
Here's a question for you. Bill said, how fun was it to do the Cereal Monster merch?
It was awesome, and it was also one of the more challenging things. I have actually a funny story about that, if I may. But first of all, it was amazing because I love, growing up, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, But they were actually really worried about us when we signed on to do that because, General Mills, we had this meeting. It was a new licensing meeting. It was virtual. And it was, it's so funny when you zoom out and kind of think about how companies work. And, we grew up loving Count Chocula and Tricks and things like that. But as a corporation and how they have to handle things, I'm still this sort of geeky kid nerd looking in on it, even though we're working with them as a company. And they're like, they're showing us their PowerPoint. This is what you can do. Like Tricks. The bunny can never get the cereal. That's a rule. You know what I mean? Like it's like all these rules and things. And basically we got wind that we got wind that they had seen we're reprinting it this month, the Bloody Miner design where the it's My Bloody Valentine where he's holding the heart and stuff, right? Well, we had originally put that out a few years ago, and when we put that out, we were having this meeting and we basically got wind that they saw that and they was some internal discussion about whether or not they should allow us to do anything with cereal monsters because they thought maybe we were going to try to blow them up or something. And I thought that was really funny because they were actually legitimately concerned about us. And I wrote them, I said, listen, we want to treat these characters with respect. We had done Garfield a few years before that, a year or two before that, we're not going to chop off Count Chocula's head and have, Frankenberry jam a knife in his throat.
Or Count Chocula ripping someone's throat out.
Exactly. Listen, if you'll let us, we will. But that's not our intent here. That's not our direction. So they felt better about it. I just thought, I'm like, wow, you're worried about it? That's really funny. But it was a lot of fun. But what was really the biggest issue was testing. And so a lot of times, depending on the license, depending on the company, you have to get your products tested for flammability or whatever. And because General Mills is a food company, they have really high standards about certain things, especially if you're marketing to kids or whatever, which we weren't, but we fell in to sort of the groupings that they had very strict policies. So we had to get everything tested, the enamel pins, the lead content, the ink they used, the masks that we did, each component, each color ink, everything, the fabric of the t-shirts, the ink that was used in the t-shirts, all had to get sent to labs. We literally invested thousands of dollars over the course of a year just to get things tested before we had any product coming out into the market.
That's crazy.
And it was, and then anytime you wanted to, I mean, and we would come down to the wire on things when it was like, oh, this was approved, but this wasn't, and all these things. And it was, that honestly sucked a little bit of the wind. I understand why they need to do all that, but it did suck the wind out of our sails a little bit because we had all of these ideas and plans. And to be honest, things sold okay, but it wasn't so much of a home run where I was like, oh no, we got to keep going with this. We got to keep doing this. It was like, okay, this is what we have to deal with whenever time we work with this. And yeah, sales were okay and it worked out okay enough, but I don't want to keep doing all of that. Like, that's a lot of stuff to have to deal with. So yeah, and honestly, to be fair, we couldn't do a ton of original stuff with it. I mean, to a degree we could, but there just was only so much we could do, and it was like, I don't think it's going to be worth taking this on another 2 or 3 years, you know.
Yeah,
and he said, for the record, he owns the Blueberry Mask shirt company.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And he said, I would have thought they would have been worried about the Rudolph one where Bumble was ripping everyone apart, and then he also owns the Misfits Friday the 13th.
Oh, cool! That was a fun one. Yeah, the Misfits one. The Rudolph. Yeah, I don't know if they saw that one. It was just because we had sent out, like, literally released the Bloody Minor that day, and I think they saw either a post about it or maybe they got the newsletter. I don't know. Like maybe they saw our website or whatever, and they were like, uh-oh, who are these FRIGHT-RAGS people? They're gonna ruin our product. And I'm like, we're good. It's
so my buddy Valentine is coming back for just in time for Valentine's Day. So if you guys are interested in that T-shirt, get ready because it's coming.
I'm gonna get that one.
Are you?
Yeah.
And then keep an eye out. Also, sign up for the texts and the emails and stuff because so you don't miss opportunities like I did with the lunchbox. Unless there's some extras, I'm gonna definitely be jumping on.
I have a question for you about like the podcast and stuff that you guys do. Do you still? I'm not gonna say the code right now, but do you still have the code from Christmas active for those that listen to the podcast?
I think so.
Okay.
You can try it. I don't know.
Not too long ago, and I was like, "Oh, it still works."
I'm honestly not sure. I'd have to go look now. I don't even remember. I don't know if we set a date for that.
People are gonna be listening to the podcast for the code now. There you go. Now that thing is being said with the Valentine is Leprechaun coming back for St. Patty's Day?
No, that's one we let go as well.
I missed out on that one. I was bummed.
Yeah, we did. We did that again. We had that for a few years, and again, it's sometimes we have to look at what we have in our sort of portfolio, if you will. And I want to make sure we give everything that we have enough attention. And we've got a number of different categories, and we always want to have some new stuff, new properties, but there's properties we want to keep. And with Leprechaun, it was again, sometimes it got difficult, whether it was approvals or just other things. And we were just like, you know what, we should probably just let this one go for now. And I know there's actually a couple other companies that have the rights to it, so I'm sure they'll be doing something. We will be doing a re-release of our Silver Shamrock shirt, and we've actually got something brand new coming out for that. I guess I could probably say it here. We haven't announced it, but
ooh, exclusive.
It is an exclusive because we literally have not announced this at all. And to be honest, it was approved, but I got to make sure we can get them done in time. But we're going to be doing a Silver Shamrock pint glass.
Oh,
that's
cool.
cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
I like to drink beer. That helps out.
It's a classic Irish tulip-looking, glass, like the Guinness ones, pint glass, and it's got the Silver Shamrock logo on it.
No, like that meme. Take my money. Wow.
It's awesome that you bring up that design actually, because I'm wearing the Silver Shamrock socks
Oh,
currently.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm going to take from this interview is anytime I want Fright Rags merch, I'm going to be like, but Heidi,
Yeah.
the license will go away and I'll
Yeah.
never get it. And then
Yeah,
it just
just completely use that. That's go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Oh my god, I have so much fire. Like, oh, what if it's gone? Remember the one time I was gonna get the Chucky beanie? So this is great for everybody. Yeah, I'm pumped. I know I'm happy about this. Anyone have any horror movie questions? Like, what's your, besides Halloween? What's your go-to? Like, what are some horror movies are like go-tos for you?
Ooh, definitely in my top, like, and of course it always changes. I mean, Halloween's always there, so move that aside. But in that rotating kind of spectrum of movies that I just love, I go to like Friday 13th Part 3 is my favorite Friday 13th movie. Silver Bullet is one of my all-time favorite movies. Monster Squad. Oh God, what else do I go to? Trick or Treat. Honestly, I love so much. Both Trick or Treat and Trick or Treat. Yeah, I mean, God, there's so many I could just throw in there, but those are probably like desert island type movies that I could always put on, and just there's a certain feeling to them that it brings me back to a certain time and place in my life that's a comforting feeling. Like, I mean, again, I love a ton of different movies, but those ones have a special something where I'm like, I remember where I was when I either first saw it or a specific memory related to those films.
You talked about hosts. What are some new day ones that like you caught your attention and like you fell in love with? For me, mine was It Follows. I seen that movie and I was like, this is such a cool idea.
What's funny? I was talking to somebody about that. I think I was on like a podcast as well, and we were talking about new movies that had to be like post 2000 or something. And I drew such a blank. And then after we got done, I was like, oh, there's this. And it's like, oh my God, I feel like my brain is mush. It Follows is definitely one of the more recent ones that was great. I mean, what is it? The one that came out around the same time. Don't Speak Now? What is it called? Where they
Breathe.
Don't Breathe. That was cool. I know, I'm trying to think in most, even more recently, what have we seen?
Babadook.
I actually like the
was good,
Babadook.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Babadook was great. I thought that was a great film. Shoot, it's almost like I got to bring up my movie list now of what I've watched recently. But yeah, Babadook was great.
Wasn't really a horror movie. What was the one we just watched?
I was just thinking about that one because it's not horror, but it's really good.
Fat Man?
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman. That one was really good.
Oh, was that with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. That was good.
The kid hires a hitman to go kill Santa Claus.
You know what I liked recently in the last couple of years, in terms of, and that just made me think of Christmas, is Better Watch Out. I liked a lot.
Oh, that was
great
good.
movie.
That was
Yeah.
a really
So,
good twist.
If you're gonna watch that movie and you haven't seen it, do not watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Because it spoiled the big
Really?
Oh, see, I didn't
twist.
watch the
That's so
trailer.
dumb.
It was
Yeah.
such a
I
good
hate
twist.
that.
Like when all the laughs are in the comedy trailer.
I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again now that I know the twist. So now I'm thinking of movies. Like, obviously, we kind of went over a little bit, but Train to Busan was amazing. But
Yeah.
what's the movie? Oh my God, I'm blanking on it, but it's on Shudder now. It's the Asian movie where they make the movie. They're making the movie in it, the zombie film that they're making.
Oh, I know what.
Not The Ring, right?
No,
I
Hashtag
know what
alive,
you're
but
talking
I
I
don't think
think
that's the one.
this one they're making a zombie movie, but it becomes real.
Oh, okay.
I heard about that one.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
one Cut of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the one
If
I'm
you've not seen that movie, do yourself a favor and watch that movie, and don't shut it off after the first half an hour, because there'll be a point where you're like, oh, it's over? What? No. Do not shut it off. Watch
What was
the whole thing. Thank me later.
Yeah, what was the one you were telling me about where they were faking possessions, where the pastor was doing, and then
the
like
cleansing hour.
Oh, I haven't
I
seen that.
really loved that one, and like I'm a really big like advocate for like actual on-screen makeup versus a CGI world.
Yeah.
And I thought they did such an amazing job of that and stuff. It's a really cool one though. I would highly check that one out.
Cool. And there's a lot of movies I have not seen that I need to catch up on for sure.
Any chance for this? Like, I know it's a bigger company, but Cloverfield. I'm
Oh,
a,
you do a line of shirts?
I'm a fan of like a monster destroying a city. That's just I don't know. Everyone hates me for liking Cloverfield, but it's
No,
one of
I think it's great. I mean,
Cloverfield sucks.
I loved it.
I
I'm
don't think I
the
saw it.
same way. Like anytime you get like even like movies like what was the one with Guillermo del Toro did? Why am I thinking the Kaiju and the Jaegers? The
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Yeah, I love Pacific Rim. The second one not as much, but I love Pacific Rim. Obviously, Godzilla King of Monsters is awesome, and I love
And Godzilla Kong.
yeah. Like
What do you think they fight the whole time? Or you think there's a hidden boss?
so when we had first I had met with Legendary when we were talking. This was at licensing show a couple years ago, and we were discussing because I think King of Monsters had just come out, and they had just started. They were showing us some teaser ideas for the whole idea of Godzilla versus Kong, and I'm like, oh my god, this would be amazing. I mean, there was nothing shot or anything, but and I just remember saying, stupid watch. But by bringing this up because I remember talking to the person, I said, "Oh, what are they going to do? Like have a stalemate at the end, you know?" And they're like, "No, actually, one of them has to win." And I'm like, "Okay." So I've always taken that since then is like, okay, there's a definitive winner, and in the trailer they said, you know, one shall fall. But I've also, you know, in that trailer is that Mechagodzilla.
That's what I'm thinking.
Are they going to team up and take down Mechagodzilla so one falls? And you know what I'm saying? Like, is that the way they're going to get around it? You know,
Because
or
they found the bodies, and then at the very end of the last one, they had the big head. They had the head of one, and then they have the device that they could put in Mechagodzilla that can control the other, like because they have the speaker box thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my theory. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going thinking of Mecha.
or maybe at the end, Kong walks out of the water and he's got Godzilla's head in his hand, and Godzilla.
And then
And he
on the
winks.
Blu-ray, it's reversed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So we got one
Wayne's
last
scene.
question for you, then we'll get you out of here.
Sure.
Because you're doing your
Terror tweets.
terror
tonight.
tweets tonight.
Yes. Yep.
What movie are you guys watching?
Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Nice. You guys did. He was telling me you guys did a horror movie. Oh, not really horror, but I would say suspense movie. But I was a huge fan of it. Frozen.
Yes.
Now, if you pitch that movie to somebody and you just tell them what you watched,
with Aurora.
Wait,
No.
Frozen
So it's
on
like-
No,
Disney?
no.
so I'm
That's
gonna,
a thriller. I'm gonna watch it then.
here's the movie. They go skiing.
Yeah.
They want to quick get up and get down the mountain one more time. So they get up, but there's a storm coming, a real bad storm. So
Oh, I
they
remember.
get on the ski lift
I
and
would
halfway up.
I would rather get Frozen than watch that.
I thought the same thing, and I watched it. I was like, because it's one of those things. It's like I'd be terrified. It's terrifying. It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it.
I thought I liked it. It was a good movie. But the last question we have for here is follow-up question. Any thoughts on Salem's Lot merchandise?
I mean that's with Warner Brothers as well. So that's one of those that if we can finally get in with them, that will be one of the ones we bring up to them in hopes to doing officially.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much for this
Yeah,
once
thank
again.
Thank you.
Sure, it was a blast. I appreciate it.
You are welcome anytime. Anytime you want to come on and talk a movie, if there's something on Shudder or you have a T-shirt line. I mean, we're not the biggest platform, so we're trying to get there. But if every time, the door's always open, is what we're saying, and
Awesome.
we support FRIGHT-RAGS, and the fact that you are willing to come and do this was a big deal to us, and thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, and it's great being on here.
Awesome. We'll let you go, and then we'll say our plugs here, and then we'll wrap up. But we'll thank you once again.
Thank you. Take care. Appreciate it.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Fright-rags.com.
Yeah. So real quick, everybody, just plugs. Check out the stuff on the network. If you want to support, you can go do so. Anything you want to plug?
You want me to do my nerdy?
Well,
Or do you want me to do it now or on Patreon? What do we-
you want? It's up to you.
Doesn't matter.
You want to do Patreon or now?
Doesn't matter.
We'll come back to you.
Flip a coin.
Okay.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, Nikolai, what do you got?
So obviously, go check out FRIGHT-RAGS. I will attest to all of their merchandise. Last Halloween, I think it was, or last October, I counted. I have over 30 shirts,
Wow.
just the
Step
shirts
your
from them.
game up.
You're
So I was
best.
able to wear one every day of October.
You know, you need 31.
No, I'm saying like I had enough
Oh,
to
oh,
go
oh,
over
well, there you
the
go, yeah.
entire thing of
Yeah.
October.
How many
So
socks do you have?
not so many of the socks, but they are amazing as well.
Good get for this one, by the way.
Yeah, I was really happy that Ben
That's
agreed to
awesome.
come hang out for a bit with us. And it's always great because like going to see him at the cons and stuff. He's always like he's not always at the booth, but it's always nice. He's super like gracious to talk to.
And her name again,
Jess.
Jess. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jess.
thank
That's
you.
huge. When he messaged me and said that's the thing, I was like, oh my god, wait till Heidi finds out. We were hoping it would be here by the time, but
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's fine. But we wanted to let you know on thing that I can get my fucking shirt back.
no. What if she likes that one because that one fits better because it's worn in.
Well, this one is
Will
a
be-
female's size that she's sending.
Oh.
So
A
it
female
may-
2X.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
That's
may
like a male regular X.
be closer to that size.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be just exactly like mine, and I can have that on my back.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you got to plug?
Nothing. Really? I mean, the shows here,
Yeah.
right?
What about your wrestling buddy?
Hell yeah, that's not. It's not for sale. So
Yeah.
I,
I want a wrestling buddy. So
I want to. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait to get that one.
Yeah.
But there'll be another one made and auctioned off. Well, not auctioned off. Well, raffled off.
Nice.
So
Heidi, what do you got?
Okay, actually, I have something for real this time.
whoa.
So it's called Wylam Street Wares. It's my friend Kayla and her friend Jonna. They started this little collab where Jonna makes dog treats, and then they both make like
Little ornaments. and
little
stuff.
ornaments and like cricket things, like all kinds of cool stuff. And then they usually donate money to the SPCA,
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
like some whatever
And
from
where
each
can you
bag
find
of
her?
treats.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they're on Facebook.
And what's the name again?
Wylam Street Wares.
Okay.
look at you.
was-
Heidi
made
come with notes.
I
Yeah.
made notes. this time. I
This
was
is-
ready.
Oh, nice.
Exciting.
Cool.
We are gonna. I'll go back to Brie in 1 second here, but we are going to be doing a Patreon episode. So if you are a member of the Patreon, what I need you to do is send me a message. What we're gonna do for the Patreon is obviously we're still gonna upload it, but if you're free right now and you want to hang out with us, this is something we're gonna start tonight for Patreon. The app we're using, I can send you a link to bring you in, but
But
I
you can't
control
leave.
if you can come on screen or not. So even if you're there, if you're on with your webcam and your microphone and it sounds good, we can even bring people in for the Patreon if you're a Patreon member and turn to you for a question or not. But it will have a private chat as well. So you can watch it live and not wait for it to go up later.
Mhm.
So we still have the live option to do it,
Yeah.
but it's even a more exclusive private
And,
link.
and you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to.
And you don't have to be on camera, but if you do choose to be there, you can like wave or put a thing
Yeah.
up or say in the chat, you know what I mean? But you guys can all talk to each other. And so this is going to be a thing for Patreon. So there's a few of you. We didn't go through the Patreon, and thanks. I should probably do that real quick right now.
Everyone.
Yeah.
We got 7 people watching.
Until we get 500 people, like we can't say.
Yeah. So if we get to if we get to the
Yeah,
point where most of the show would be us thanking Patreon
but you
people.
can new,
Can we
new
run it like
subscribers
credits?
since the last
Yeah.
show.
We could do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the new ones from the last show. But first off, we're up to 6 people, which
All
is
right.
Awesome.
unbelievable. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
Yeah, thank
It,
you.
it's when we made it, we didn't think even we get to that level. So we do have a $1 shout out where you can do $1. If 100 people does $1, that
Yeah.
and we're gonna get to the point where we want to pay back the money we put in for equipment, and we still have some stuff on the wish list that we have for equipment. We want to get headphones and stuff, but I think we're gonna get to the point as well where if we get a certain amount, I know me because I'm uncomfortable with money. We'll probably be doing donations with most of it or buying stuff to give away. So I think that's what we're going to get to at some point. But we want to thank the PA Pile Driver podcast for their donation, the High Risk and Other Words podcast, Jay, Austin Blackwell, Jennifer Myers, who's the MVP, the MVP of the Patreon, and Keith Skater, who was our first Patreon. So thank you guys so much. The links are below for you to want to join and hang out and see it. What did Bill say? I want to start exclusively wearing Fright-RAGS shirts whenever I'm on the show. I love it.
I've already
Yeah.
started it. So
Yeah.
join the team.
Yeah, so Bill comes and hangs out with us on Banging Beers podcast.
Awesome.
So
Our friend Zach has a lot of horror.
Oh,
Like-
and
yeah.
Mhm.
Zach used to make his own horror
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was very talented at it.
Yeah.
I own one of his pieces.
Mhm.
I own his
That's awesome.
Necronomicon.
Yeah. Yeah. He hasn't made so much stuff. I mean, he just had a kid recently. So
Yeah. And that kid's adorable.
Yeah.
They have like a huge like VHS collection. It's
Yeah.
cool. They
Yeah,
like
he
did his, it
collects
was, like, his
VHSs.
birthday
Their
and they
front
like,
room, he has
stacked
like a
them
bunch
up.
of his like
Yeah.
masks and posters up. It's
very
really
cool.
We
awesome.
want
And
to
an old-fashioned TV with a VCR to watch the VHS.
Yep. we want to start doing a little more. Like we said, now that Heidi's here and I can do stuff with her, and I mean the door's always open for everybody, but we want to start doing like maybe some Shudder movie reviews, because Shudder I think is a good horror program, and like the Patreon we still do movie reviews and stuff, so we'll maybe carry some of that over. But we do have a thing where we're helping each other with when it comes to bonus content. So there's going to be some cool stuff coming from Not Cool in High School. Another big thing I just want to say, the IWEP network, if you search that on all audio platforms, isn't going anywhere. All the shows will continue to be there. But I have gotten a few messages and a few feedback, and I agree 100%. And I wish I would have done this earlier, because now the process to go back and do it is a lot. But when you now search Interviews with Everyday People, Tornado Tag, and now Not Cool in High School, right now it's only on Anchor and Spotify. I have to wait a couple days for distribution to go through, but it soon will be on iTunes. It will be on every major podcast platform. Not Cool in High School has its very own searchable thing.
Okay,
so when
if
you go on there,
want to listen to that and not the
Yes.
other show, that's the only thing that will show up in your feed.
yeah.
Okay,
So
that
when
is a good
someone
idea.
searches Not Cool in High School, it will have its own, like it may still show up for IWP Network, which we're going to still keep, because
yeah, well, that's fine.
there's a lot of subscribers there, but we're going to now open the door if you want to, because people want to go back and listen to past episodes and like, hey, I'd love to go check out this old episode. But when you do it, and we have because we're getting really close to 500 total
Yeah,
episodes.
it's hard to scroll through it.
It's hard to find episode 2
And
of
if
Not
you're
Cool in High School.
not a wrestling fan, but I want.
Yeah. I don't care about beer. I don't care about wrestling. Yeah. So we are going to be doing that with all the shows, but 3 of them are completed now.
Wow.
And I'm staying up very, very late to do so. So if you are listening to this, or if you're watching it later, if you can just take 5 minutes out of your day, head over to Spotify, hit follow, and if you we'll keep you updated when it comes to iTunes and stuff. But reviews and follows are very helpful. So definitely, we're trying to bump up the audio numbers. We're really happy you guys watch video, but definitely go check out some audio ones, because obviously the more it gets shared and the more it gets listened to, it does help us out tremendously. And we are trying to grow, making a big push here in year 3 to really make a run at this.
Yeah. Listen on your way to work.
Yeah.
From work.
That's what I do. I do it.
Drive around like me.
Yeah, I do it during work, because I'm allowed to wear earbuds.
Yeah.
And I listen to half the episode on the way to work and the other half on the way
There
back.
you go. Yeah.
That's what I do. But Bree, do you want to do your nerdy fashion now, or do you want to wait for the
I'll
Patreon?
do a flip a coin.
He has a coin ready, so we'll let him.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Heads.
Heads now, tails later. Tails later.
Tail. So you will see Bree's nerdy. We'll give us a teaser, so people know. Maybe your nerdy fashion will push them to
Wow.
subscribe. What are you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about an accessory.
What theme? Is it a movie theme or?
It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it can be it's like a little bit. It's like a catch-all.
It's very vague.
I almost ordered.
It's intentionally vague.
I almost ordered one of your bracelets,
Oh,
the little beady ones.
yes, that's going to be in next week's.
They have a Stitch one.
They do. It's
Oh.
new. Yes, Stitch is new.
I was looking at it. I was like, she already got me for the beanie. I think she's getting me for the bracelet. I kind of want a Stitch bracelet, so I may look at that after the show's over. If you do a specifically horror podcast, I will definitely 100% be on it. I don't know if we'll do just horror, but maybe we could bring you on once and we'll do like movie reviews and
Our
stuff.
bonus.
Our bonus, yeah.
That's why I pitched that office idea for a bonus one. Like the bonus episodes could just be Patreon only, but they don't have to be show specific.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be the Not Cool in High School bonus. It could just be like, if you subscribe to Patreon, you can get this podcast about meatloaf. You know,
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I will not be participating in meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
So
Wait, the food or the guy?
Yeah.
tune
I hate
in
meatloaf.
to find out.
yeah. So what we may start doing here
Love the
too,
food, hate the guy.
where I think
I'm the opposite.
if we do that, we make bonus episodes exclusively for Patreon. I think we keep them audio only.
Yeah, that's fine.
We could
Yeah.
just do audio only, or maybe we could do. We'll figure it
And
out.
you can make like small, like the office one. That could just be 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like the episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna do. I think that's something we're gonna lean to, because you've never seen it.
I've never seen
Whoa, that'd be great.
What?
Yeah.
I
watches
own
The
it.
Office.
it digitally
He does.
because of him.
Yeah,
He
I
was
have-
like,
I
you
have
need to
every
buy this. So I
DVD.
said, okay.
And then we will all have access to Peacock because their networks go with Peacock.
Yes,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
we have access to.
Yeah.
It's probably also good if that is a decision shortly from now, because the next BAM box for the Geek box that I'm already subscribed to has The Office in it.
Awesome.
And I,
So
I
I'll
hope you have.
probably
I hope you have
something.
no idea what the item is, and you're like, Tony,
I
you can have
probably
this.
will. No, I'm gonna hold on to it, whatever it is,
Teapot.
until I watch it. and
Teapot's
be
fucking
like-
stupid.
I love the teapot.
Well, if you didn't know,
I'll be
What?
like, oh well, Tony already has a teapot.
They'll be like, why the hell?
I'll take it, Nikolai.
He'll be like, why the hell did I get an iPod?
yeah.
I'll take an iPod.
Yeah. So
It's the 20 gig one.
I mean,
so I think that's
2000.
that's a
Hello
possibility.
$30
Kitty
and get an
laptop,
iPad.
please.
I mean, iPod.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take it.
We're thinking about doing like on Patreon only, like exclusive Office, where we're gonna rewatch Office and do like
Yeah.
a 15-20 minute talk about
Yeah,
the
watch
Office.
one episode and then review just that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very
I
easy
can
to
handle
do,
that.
very easy to digest. We all have 20 minutes during the week.
I support this.
Yeah. So once again, if you
Support
go
it.
to Interviews with Everyday People on Spotify, you'll find it. If you go and search Tornado Tag on Spotify, go follow that, and Not Cool in High School. I'm gonna start tonight, hopefully on Bangin' Beers. I think I'm gonna work on that one, and then I kind of made a little fub. I'm not gonna talk about it because it's embarrassing of how I messed up on Truth Behind Illusion. I'll tell you guys off camera. I'm an idiot.
He's a bad speller.
Thanks, I. So I misspelled and I didn't realize.
Roof behind illusion. Roof, roof.
No, I put the I in the illusion in the wrong spot. Not the second I.
Just
Yeah,
LL.
yeah. So
It is.
so I went to cancel and delete the thing, but because I deleted it, it's telling me it's in like a 48-hour window. So when I try to go back in and make a new one, it's not letting me
that
add
sucks.
stuff.
Well,
So-
we'll get there.
Oh.
We'll
but
get
that's only 20 episodes. It's easy.
Yeah.
I can fly
Yeah.
through that.
And a lot of people listen to those types of podcasts go back and listen from the first one.
Yeah.
Any type of supernatural podcast.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a new jump, and I know on the network we're getting close to like 16,000 plays, but
Woo.
that's all going to change now because hopefully it's still going to be there. So if you're already subscribed, you don't have to change anything. But if you want to go back and check out past stuff, it's all there.
Wait, I have a question. So on Spotify, so I already have the IWEP now.
You follow them all because we have the same Spotify account.
Okay. Well, I didn't know it for like anyone else. Like, do you have to go find each other one now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be their own searches.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're already subscribed to the IWP network, it's there. And if you are subscribed, if you can leave a review on whatever platform you're on, please do so.
Even if it's just stars, you don't have to say anything. Just
Yeah.
Star rating.
Like so if you are someone who listens to audio only, take a few minutes, go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. I am going to start working on Twitter more. I want to get better with it. I actually want to.
I think it's been like a year since I logged.
I deleted mine over
so-
a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I
I want
can.
to. I
Because I
want to
never
get
used
better
it.
on it.
I'm bad with
I feel like Facebook, we're at
Checking
a
like
level
every
where
3
it's
months.
only going to get bigger with shares.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like we have a nice base, and we're kind of leaving it up to you guys as the fans to share it more on Facebook and help us out. YouTube, it is what it is. If it catches, it catches.
Yeah.
So I want to try maybe going on Instagram and Twitter more and growing our audiences there. Banging Beers is almost up to 1,000 people following on Instagram.
Awesome.
The other shows aren't doing too great because there are kind of newer things, and I haven't really been pushing them. I kind of put our photos up there of us after the show. That's pretty much it.
I've
So
been on Instagram a lot more than Facebook lately.
yeah,
I've been like avoiding Facebook. I
So-
think because there's just like Instagram,
It's
you
just
just see a
pictures.
picture
yeah.
and it
Yeah,
catches your eye.
you don't have to read.
Right. Because like I'll see a big post on Facebook. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So that's what we got going on. So we'll let you guys go. We're gonna take a couple minutes here, reset, and
Everyone
if you
can
want, if
leave.
you are watching
Yeah.
live and you want to join the Patreon, send us a message, and we'll get you that link so you can come hang out. Or we'll just put the link in Patreon. That's probably the smart thing to do. We'll just put the link in Patreon,
We're gonna call you on the phone.
Where's
and
the
you
tell
can
you
and,
the
and
link.
you can join in. We'll see you guys soon. Here is some Phased.
I like this music.
You like
Look at
Phased?
that.
It's good.
I like this
Whoa.
music. I don't know if he starts singing though.
Andy
I
Love.
don't know.
It's a little bit of both, a little screamy both.
Okay.
Oh,
Sounded good in the beginning. It's
yeah.
the same song.
So here's Phased.
Unless you changed it on me.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi.
Confined is where I'm safe. I'm gone without a trace. Nothing goes as planned. It's just a part of every fucking thing I am.